Dan Howell has announced a brand new book. Billie Eilish has shaded people for partying in lockdown, and it's pretty clear that it's YouTubers. Logan Paul has agreed to fight Floyd Mayweather. Addison has broken down in tears on Instagram Live after being repeatedly called out. And of course, it's a return of YouTuber Watch. Well, we've got the Dad Howell story. We'll see. All this plus which YouTubers have cooties. We have the full list on this week's edition of YouTuber News. Hosted by me, Benedict Townsend, England's answer to Robert Pattinson, and brought to you by PopBuzz, the only website that put its name in a goblet of fire. Did you put your name in the goblet of fire? Tell me how. How can you be England's answer to Robert Pattinson? Robert Pattinson is England. He's not in England. He's actually American. Listen to his voice in movies. Our first story. Dan Howell. We've not covered this person before. He must be new. Dan Howell, whoever this is, has surprised us all by announcing he's releasing a brand new book. The book is called Professor Bumblesquat's Christmas Nightmare and is a 500-page pop-up book all about workers rising up to seize the means of production from the ruling government class. There's a typo on here actually. The book is actually called You Will Get Through This Night, and it's actually quite a serious book. I'm being a very silly man. It's actually quite a serious book about mental health and Dan's own personal struggles. In an announcement video, Dan is heard saying, quote, "There's a moment at the end of every day where the world falls away and you're left alone with your thoughts. A reckoning. When the things you've been pushing to the background come forward and demand your attention. Mental health is something we all have, whether you know you're going through a tough time or feel like you're fine, it's always there. Invisible, but influencing what you feel, how you react. Sometimes it can feel like a fog you're powerless to navigate through, but that's not true. You can be your own light." And at the end of the video, Dan says, quote, "I can do it, and so can you. You will get through this night." And on Twitter, Dan added, quote, "I've written a book about understanding your mental health. It's deep, it's dark, it's personal, it'll make you laugh, it'll make you cry, and it actually has profound professional advice that might completely change your life, so please pre-order it, thank you." For those who are interested, the book is coming out in 2021 and you can pre-order it right now. There we go. Dan can't get annoyed about Dan Howell Watch now because I've just spent 5 minutes advertising his book, so. Deal done. Our second story, Billie Eilish has shaded a bunch of people, including probably YouTubers, influencers, TikTokers, for not wearing masks during the ongoing global health crisis. The video was uploaded to her Instagram on September 14th, and in the video, Billie says, quote, "Funny how I haven't hugged my best friends in 6 months, and y'all are out here partying." And at that moment, she shoots the camera one of her trademark deadpan looks. Like, a guy who's never seen Billie Eilish before. I don't know this Billie Eilish, but I think she did something like this. Now, Billie, of course, doesn't name anyone in this story, but, you know, of course, we've covered it loads on this show. Bryce Hall, Tana Mojo. Tana Mojo, this past week, uploaded photos of her partying yet again. I covered this on the YouTuber News podcast this week. Not a stone's throw from her most recent apology video where she called herself out for partying in lockdown, called it inappropriate, and said she'd never do it again. She just did it again. And you know, Billie, like many people, is probably looking at the internet, seeing these people and thinking, hey, I'm doing my part to try and, you know, hold this thing back. And there's people out here just flouting the rules. Yeah, you're right. She was probably watching YouTube News. And Billie, once again, thank you for watching. I know you're a #1 viewer, and I know you like to watch it from beginning to end multiple times just to get the views up. And I really appreciate that because you're a busy young woman. At the end of the day, what can you say apart from the fact that this story really wasn't about YouTube? Our third story, Logan Paul has apparently agreed to fight Floyd Mayweather, or rather Floyd Mayweather has agreed to fight Logan Paul. Now this news comes from Keemstar, who is apparently also a YouTube news person. Talk about copycat, jeez. But take this news with a pinch of salt because he seems to be the only source on this at the moment. He tweeted out, quote, "Mayweather versus Logan Paul this year. No joke. That's Boxing Insider just told me." That's Boxing Insider just told me. It's like, I think he's malfunctioning there. So, Paul versus Mayweather. Guess there's nothing else to say apart from rest in peace Logan Paul, 1995 to 2020, killed because he inexplicably decided to fight Floyd Mayweather. This is wild though. I mean, you gotta hand it to him. This is a career high for Logan and a catastrophic career low for Floyd Mayweather. He's coming out of retirement to fight Logan Paul. I mean, the money must be crazy. Unless, of course, Floyd Mayweather is doing this for free because he really just wants to punch Logan Paul in the face, which, you know, I'd never condone violence, but He punches people in the face for a living. Maybe he just wants to test it out, you know? Who do you think will win in this battle? Let us know by tweeting us at YouTuber News, or of course you can tweet me at Benedict Town. It's also my Instagram handle. That's not relevant to this story, but you know, I want people to follow me on Instagram so I can have Instagram followers. It's a simple system. Our fourth story. Wow, 4 stories, aren't you lucky kids? Addison Rae has broken down in tears on Instagram Live after being dragged for just so many things, including apparently dancing to a song that apparently discussed eating disorders for a partnered video, an old video in which she criticized the Black Lives Matter movement, allegedly liking comments that shade Charli D'Amelio. These are previous things she's been dragged for. And now, most recently, she's being dragged for apparently liking comments that glorify eating disorders. You know, it just seems that people are really coming for Addison, you know, whether or not it's justified, who am I to say? But you need to know that people are very constantly criticizing her, and Addison apparently had had enough. She took to Instagram Live on September 15th and said, quote, "I think people are so misunderstood, especially on the internet. There's people that get portrayed a certain way, or people just attack them for things that aren't necessarily true or right, and you never really know what's going on. I'm gonna be honest, it does get to me. There are moments where I read things about myself, and I read comments, and I read things that I can't sit here and act like it's never affected me, because it has. And at the end, you know, she even shed a few tears. Clearly she was in a pretty bad way, but people still managed to get mad at her about this because, you know, she didn't apologize directly enough or whatever. People are mad at Addison Rae, basically, and it's making her do tears. Now, this week we actually had a news story about Dan Howell for the first time in, must be 2 decades. So, you know what that means? It's not time for Dan Howell Watch. Yep, does what it says on the tin. Dan Howell Watch? No. None for you. You like some Dan Howell Watch? No. Come here. No Dan Howell Watch for you. I'm Benedict Townsend, and this has been YouTuber News, which airs every week on the YouTuber News YouTube channel and also on Snapchat Discover. If you haven't already, please subscribe by swiping up on the last snap of this story or by hitting subscribe on YouTube. It's the best way to get brand new episodes of YouTuber News first. And if you've enjoyed today's episode, and if you've enjoyed it, please could you hit like on YouTube. It really helps us out algorithmically and everything. It is only through your lovely, constant support that this show keeps going, so thank you so much for watching, particularly for watching all the way to the end. You're the real heroes. I'll be back next week with a brand new episode of YouTuber News, as well as a new episode of the YouTuber News podcast. But until then, look after yourselves, and remember, hey, we might not be able to like Harry Potter anymore because the author's bad, but there's always Lord of the Rings. What's that? He was pretty racist? All right, we can't do Lord of the Rings, but there's always Ender's Game. He's really homophobic. All right, that's fine. Anyone good? Anyone? Just don't read books. I think that's the lesson here. Is there anything good in this world? YouTuber News, of course, the one pure thing in this world.